affairs.
Alright. Time to talk to everyone. Join the lost numbers in the hopes of becoming as fine a man as Guernica. In the hopes of becoming as strong and as kind as him, and yet, even as of this day, it still remains an aspiration.
I should run.
Can I open this door now? Can. Okay, is there not a barrel in here? There's a barrel somewhere in this area. And that's annoying. I could theoretically continue on, but they're stopping me. We'll deal with this at some point. Is that... Okay, maybe... I don't know. Quest? This appears to be sheet music. Someone's sheet music.
This sounds pretty serious.
Interesting. Have to find whoever that is, I guess, at some point. I very much appreciate the scavenger force retrieving those supplies. It sure ain't an easy job. They're going to the Nom wetlands next. The fight never stops for them.
Can't underestimate a bit of good intel.
I assume they are growing their own food up here somehow. Oh, you have quite a lot of items. And I have one of each. Don't know if it matters much. What about you?
Let's see what you have.
Oh, you sell me resources. Of which I have none of these. Let's buy a bunch. Wait, are the trader pawn the... If they all are like that, I need to be paying more attention to their shops then. Shop at Wellwell is general store, passed down through many generations of trader. Ancestors of Wellwell travel whole world in caravan, but one day decide to stop caravan and settle here. After that, shop deal in many, many goods, artistic things, Nappan craft, fun printed matters, important service to city friends.
We have some new names registered.
Daddy, could we get this book? Sure thing, champ. What a good choice. Help you in with your studies. Reading. Do people... No, people must know how to read.
I see.
Surely. Or at least we... let's say people. We must know how to read. Lost Numbers gear mostly consists of redux versions of stuff that we salvage from battlefields. After so many years of tinkering with this stuff, we've got the process down to a fine art now. All of these are pretty good now. Yeah, totally. You never know that all this stuff was salvaged from battlefield wreckage. Actually, I help them out with it from time to time as well.
We have some new names registered.
What's up? Am I a rare sight to you? The city's got the three types of folk. Promising youngsters, hard-working adults, and old folks with time on their hands. Time on your hands? Like you don't have anything you need to do? We paint, write poetry, play an instrument, or in my case, have a good old drink every day. So you smashed up the castle's annihilator, huh? We used the chaos you kindly created to pick Kevis in the proverbial by raiding the pods. You Ouroboros, you're like a star of hope rising above this city. You set an awfully high standard for yourselves.
We have some new names registered.
I dare say there are quite a few questions you'd like to put to me right now. But if you aren't sick or wounded, please stay out of the medical facility, if you don't mind. Your presence is bound to cause fuss, you see. Please bear with me, for the sake of the people who need their rest. Oh, like those little baby people? That's right, we have some gravely ill old folk being cared for too. People who are sadly coming to the end of their lives.
We have some new names registered.
Okay, what's the new food here?
Everyone, get some rest.
I guess we could also do some discussion. Wow, there's a lot of stuff here. Oh, this is for... Okay, this is to start off getting her as a party member, I presume. Or I say party member, as one of my heroes.
I just wanted to confirm.
Do you notice how in the city, people call adults, like Monica, teach those smaller folk things? Not smaller folks, Uni. The word's children. Saw adults reading books to children. It was a really peaceful scene somehow. Yeah, remember in our old training and lectures, they basically beat stuff into us. Nothing so relaxed as this. I imagine Monica would say this is how things are meant to be. She'd have a point. I can't really imagine those children holding weapons, fighting for their lives. Before Monica became an adult, do you think Guernica read to her like that too? I guess he might have. Strange, isn't it? Can't picture it at all. Yeah, bit outlandish, isn't it?
Let's consider what we know.
The city's full of things I've never heard of, and all of this amazing tech and stuff. But they seem to have to scavenge things like Leibniz parts like we do. It'll be a sight harder than just normal scavenging, too. Outwitting both Agnes and Kevis to get the stuff they need? Not my idea of fun. And they can't leave any trace behind either. That's why they have a specialized scavenging force. They're elite, but in a different way to Monica's Corps, which fights on the front line. I assume there can't be many of them, so the force can stay flexible and mobile. What, like a little secret platoon? Hey, could we pay a visit to Nam Wetlands ourselves? I assume that's on our way. I'd like to know more about these lost numbers. Curious about the scavengers? A little. It seems like a lot of hard work. We could lend them a hand. They're probably pretty short-handed over there. At least Uni made it sound like they're a titchy little unit. Well, so it's my fault, is it? Regardless, it'd be a good opportunity to get to know them better. To non-wetlands it is.
This might get complicated.
It's about the sheet music we found in the city. Gave it a play, and the melody made me really happy for some reason. So strange. It's completely different to officer melodies. Looks like only half the music is in here, though. I'd really like to know the rest. Someone in the city will have dropped it. Should we see if we can find who it belongs to? Yes, please. Okay, let's find somewhere with plenty of people and try asking around.
This might get complicated.
We've been through a lot since we settled on getting to the city, huh? But we all made it through in one piece. That's something to be thankful for. Yeah. We're seeing a world that we've never known before, experiencing it for the first time. Just wish I could have let Guernica know that too. If it wasn't for him, we'd have been cut down right where we stood. Yep. And we just ended up blindly killing each other in battle like every other smuck. I'm glad I didn't come to that. Yeah, think about it. What the old man gave us, it was immense. But in the end, we won't know a flippin' thing about the guy, will we? Kinda sucks. I mean, it's pretty late in the day, but I really want to know more about him. Wonder what his motive was for giving us this power. No, in fact, I think we have a duty to find out. Because like him, we stand together with the people of the city. Seems all the city folk thought he was a pretty awesome guy, huh? Especially Monica. He was a really special person for her, right? Indeed, Monica was referring to him as Dad, even. It's a city custom. That's what they call the person who raises them. Perhaps we could ask Monica about Guernica, find out what he really thought. After all, we're carrying his dreams now, fighting to make them real. XP boost by 25%. That's pretty good. Yeah, I don't care right now.
Ah, what do we have here?
This will just let us make something like this.
I feel like I could lift mountains.
Possibly better than this
hey, wanna
later.
See me try?
Excuse me, we're trying to find the person who dropped this sheet music. Oh, that's Granddad's. Can't believe he's been dropping things in the middle of the street again. He can't keep doing this. Would you mind introducing us to him? We'd actually quite like to meet him. Yeah, why not? Okay, you can help me find him. Knowing Granddad, he's probably standing on a bridge somewhere, worrying himself sick. Thank you. He's really hard to talk to.
We have some new names registered.
Somewhere random. Okay, well, I'm just gonna keep going on. We'll find him eventually. Granddad can carry a great tune. I feel so cheery and breezy when I hear it. I can get through anything. Some people don't like it, though. You can't defeat Mobius with music, they say. But I think the world of Granddad. want to help people who encourage others, not fight or hurt them. Do y'all come from the Atia region? Yes, that's right. Did you happen to bump into my husband? He said he was heading off towards Millica Meadows. Is that Gray? Did we?
We have some new names registered.
I would assume that's you're talking about Gray or whatever he's called. Called himself. Right, now I'm just going to be wandering aimlessly, trying to find anything of interest. There's a rest spot here, which we were told about. Grandpa and Grandma always reading me books. Super kind of them. Grandpa, Grandma? I mean those wrinkly dudes, right? That's right. It's your dad's dad, or your dad's mom, or your mom's dad, or your mom's mom. Make my head spin here, bud.
We have some new names registered.
The city isn't without its own internal squabbles. About Mishaba Canteen, everyone is a valued customer. No matter your viewpoints or beliefs, all I want for you is to enjoy some delicious food. Speaking of, I'd recommend the food we ate. It's a classic city cuisine. Can I get over here? I'll have to from somewhere else. Oh, there's a door right here. Locked. Lost numbers are short on snipers, right? It's just that I've been considering changing my role is all. You're changing your blade again? Are you really sure you found the right role this time? So are they summoning these like we are?
It's all making
I would assume
sense.
so. Except that they're general... I don't know how these work, the weapons work in this world. So if I go in here, can I get over there, perhaps? I can go a lot of places. This door is locked, this door also locked. Okay, I don't think I can get over there quite. Hello? No. Oh, we haven't been here. And somewhere, I guess below us, there's like a whole bunch of things to investigate. The Outer might be welcoming you, Ouroboros, with open arms, but I doubt everyone will feel the same. Please, don't disturb the peace we have here in this...
We have some new names registered.
It was just at your age when my grandchild joined the Lost Numbers. But he went missing on his very first mission. We should never have let him go. I regret it to this day. But now I have the power to at least oppose what the Lost Numbers are doing. Oh great, you're one of them.
We have some new names registered.
Okay, well, let's go into this house. Can I open this door? No. Okay, I don't suppose I can do anything in here then. What door I can open? Surprising. But I have technically been in here, so I guess that makes sense. The Outer is a lady I admire. Never a stronger woman have I seen. Her father and her spouse together lost, yet still she soldiers on in stern command. As daughter of the noble house of Doyle, I hope that I too climb to such a height.
We have some new names registered.
I think the Lost Numbers are wrong to carry on stealing cradles at the risk of exposing themselves. All they're doing is giving the enemy more hostages, and yet they still carry on. We all know what kind of atrocities are going on at the castle. Do friends know? The name of Lost Numbers and number 1 Leftness is mercenary. Also, with containers slotted into, often used as transport craft or armory. Those will be the Leftnesses we saw around the castle. Also, we have little Alto Levs, about the size of one Biggie Pawn, called Sentry. These special creation of Master Pawn. The ones that we fought in Alfedo Valley, maybe?
We have some new names registered.
Boomer. Excuse me, have you lost your sheet music? Is he hard of hearing? There you are. Granddad, you dropped your sheet music again. You can't just say you can't write good music and throw everything away. Wait, you wrote this piece? We wanted to know how the rest of it went, so we came looking for you. It's such a lovely melody. I'd love to be able to play it all the way through. Do you want us to follow him? Or did you walk me away? Did he hear me? I think he wants you to go with him. Oh, can he not speak? Oh, some new people over here too. Let me try to talk to them real quick before they disappear. All the city's residents are descended from the 6 houses. I can trace my roots back to House Ortiz, Monica's to House Vandam, and so on and so forth. And remembers of our ancestors' endeavors, our eye patches are each adorned with the pattern of our respective house. Guess like you have to make do with just a plain, boring old version, I'm afraid.
We've made some new friends.
Great, nobility is a thing here. So my mom got remarried, and now it sounds like her new partner will be moving in with us soon. How would you guys feel if you were in my shoes? Great, I guess? What's remarried? Some mums and dads that get married, but my dad went and died. My mom got married again. That sounds way complicated. So complicated I don't even know how to respond.
We've made some new friends.
Oh, he was heading out this way anyways. Oh well. I don't think I've been down here. Have I? Nope, maybe I have. Oh, I can investigate the statues. I see. We'll escort you down here first, though. You'd be close enough for him to continue walking, but he walks so slow. Oh, new person. I see you. However you look at it, Guernica was a great man and a heroic fighter. He ceded his position as elder to Monica so that he could carry on fighting on in the front lines. Each time he rode back into the city on his leftness, he brought back a brand new tale of valor and daring do. Yes, and I certainly wasn't the only one who was eager to hear them either. He inspired courage in all of us, not just the lost numbers. He was a great example, right up to his final moments.
We've made some new friends.
Such pretty music. Manana, dig it. Getting groovy. Okay, so maybe you can't speak. I think Granddad enjoyed himself. We had fun playing together, too. Pretty different from your off-seeing tunes in it. Feels a lot more jaunty. It's true. Simple act of listening makes you feel connected to everyone around you. How bizarre. Manana would like to listen again. I'd like to write something like that one day, too. You will, I'm sure of it. Yeah, that was a quest. Just escort the guy for like
Oh, so
a few
that's how
minutes.
they're doing.
Okay, let's go investigate all of these statues. Ouroboros Stone's Cage. The object on display upon his plinth is the very first original Ouroboros Stone's Cage. It's important to note that the initial designs for the monument are said to have included a statue of a seventh founder in its place. Next, no information remains about the seventh founder's identity, and it is possible that this is not due to a simple loss of records. Rather, historians speculate that this is the result of a conscious decision by the seventh founder. What? Okay. Okay, it's not just me. You do look very much like Shulk. House Oryx. Memory of the founder of House Oryx and the city's liberator. A Kavesi soldier, this founder was released from the flame clock system by the other founders, and henceforth spent every last ounce of his energy for the cause, to liberate the city as one of the first Ouroboros. With surpassing skill in mechanical engineering, the founder fought not with a blade, but with a weapon of his own fabrication. He was also responsible for laying the foundations of all the mechanical systems supporting the lair to this day. Following the fight against Mobius, he poured the remainder of his days into rebuilding the city, before finally perishing at the age of 80 years old. Though how he attained that feat despite his origins as a Kavesi soldier remains unexplained. So that means he did escape the age thing. I was under the impression that they couldn't. Also, everything they said does sound like Shulk, which is interesting. I don't think it's supposed to be him, but we shall see. House Raid. In memory of the founder of House Raid and the city's Liberatics. Rather than the founder herself, this statue depicts the founder's mentor figure, standing as a sign of the deep reverence and devotion she felt for her teacher. The founder's master was unconnected to her by bonds of blood, yet he raised her as would befit a child of one's own, it is said. Though of a calm and constant disposition, the sight of him on the battlefield, great red sword in hand, struck fear into many Mobius. Through the vicious struggle against Mobius, who cost this ferocious warrior his right arm, the loss did nothing to diminish his desire to hone his martial skills each day, standing as vivid testament to his indomitable will. Red sword. That does not help narrow it down somehow. I don't know if these are supposed to be characters from previous games or not. It's confusing. House Doyle. Memory of the founder of House Doyle and the city's Liberatrix. Directly descended from those who established the first original city. So you're not from either faction. Her whereabouts were lost after N's ravaging of the city of old. Oh no, that means, are they saying that N is that old? Okay. But upon encountering the other founders, she committed herself fully to the fight. This founder is said to have a familiar relation with the founder of Vandam, extant records suggesting they were likely brother and sister. She fought alongside the founder of Vandam then, who was the elder of the Wait, the city was Wait. These were supposed to be the founders of the city, but you're saying that the city already existed when she was born. There's a contradiction there, which leads me to believe that they do not know the full story of what happened. Or I'm just missing some information about this. She fought alongside the founder of Vandam then, who was the elder of the two, and brought the power of Ouroboros to completion. Said to have been bright and wise, this founder laid the cornerstones for much of the city's governance and legal system. House Vandam. Okay. Remember the founder of House Vandam, the city's restorer and liberator. The original incarnation of the city was once laid to ruin in Mobius N's hand. The founder realized fully the power of Ouroboros, heretofore limited, and fought against N, ousting him. Once victorious, he gathered the old city's people, scattered to the winds, and re-established the city. With the city restored, he left its government in the hands of the founder of Doyle, and departed on a lonely expedition. No records exist of his fate thereafter. Heirs of Vandam's lineage only returned to the new city several centuries later. Oral tradition has it that the founder was master of the classical art of fist fighting, and the scions of House Vandam carry on the custom to this day. He looks very similar to someone who showed up in the trailer of the post-game story mission, who I thought was supposed to be Noah, but like the hair at least. Maybe it is still... I don't know. Though, to be fair, it is kind of his hairstyle. Maybe I'm just trying to identify who these are supposed to be too much. House Cassini. In memory of the founder of House Cassini and the city's liberatrix. Much like with the founder of Raid, this statue too depicts the founder's respected mentor rather than the founder herself. The mentor boasts of a robust physique, wielding 2 great swords at once, with utmost ease, facing down Mobius despite the loss of one eye. 2 swords at once, you say? Is this story mission a prequel? He lived his life an unsophisticated sort, broad-minded but impassioned, and is said to have aided the founders in the fight against Mobius, physically and spiritually. He was further reported to have been a free spirit, whose qualities influenced the other founders, still young and impressionable when the city was restored. Indelible proof of the rebellious spirit can be seen time and again in the ethos of the house and generations to come. Okay, one last person. This is making me more confused. House Rhodes, soldier of Agnes. This founder's fight to the death against the founder of Ortiz, a soldier of Kevis, was interrupted by a chance meeting with other founders. Freed from the bondage of her flame clock, she joined the fight against Mobius. Although a soldier, the founder is reported to have been exceedingly gentle and kind at heart. Additionally, her skill in the healing arts greatly contributed to the development of medical science in the city in later ages. And irrespective of starting life as an Agnian soldier, she is said to have surpassed 80 years of age, though the way she achieved that remains shrouded in mystery. They both have, which is interesting. Yeah, I'm just getting more confused by being here. Okay, moving on. I would have... Oh, you're here again. Are you gonna say anything? You're just gonna hum, okay. It's a different tune to the one that was on the sheet music. Did you make it up yourself? Sounds great. Okay. This old dude's hardly ever says anything, huh? I think that's the point. I don't think he really can say anything. I don't know if we've talked to everyone in the city. It's very hard to tell. But I'm gonna keep running around for now. Oh, you're already here. And someone new? You already know this, but Agnes and Kevis have been fighting forever. And we've been living so that we've escaped the notice of Agnes, Kevis, and Mobius for just as long. I think it's about time we stopped living this way, don't you?
We've made some new friends.
Oh, 2 quests here. I'll talk to you first then. Oh hey, perfect timing. You lot have already smashed up a few flame clocks so far, right? Yeah, a few I guess. Why? Well, the thing is, the lost numbers are going to start paying out a bounty for damage dealt to Mobius. Ooh! Here you go.
We've made some new friends.
Gondor is the only one that knows the whereabouts of the real queens. I really hope everything works out. You don't think we can handle it? No, it's got nothing to do with you guys, or the plan. Sorry, just forget I said anything. I've also had my guts for garters if I say something I'm not supposed to.
Monica, can we talk?
What's up? Sounds ominous.
We were hoping we could ask you about someone. Guernica, in fact.
About Dad?
Everyone in the city speaks so highly of him. But we still don't know a whole lot about him. I think we owe him that much.
Alright. Where do you want to start?
You were brought up by him, right? So, we thought you'd probably understand him better than anyone else.
Ha! I wish that were the case. The Guernica Van Dam that I knew was a man that I always looked up to. He was always busy keeping the city together or fighting out on the front line. Always distant. After I chose a military life, he didn't even talk to me like a parent anymore.
You mean... you weren't on very good terms?
I got to know the man, I think. but not the father. I just thought that we'd have more time together.
Huh. Hey, boss. You're making the kids feel guilty.
Sorry. I don't blame you guys for any of this. Dad, Guernica, died in the line of duty, trying to accomplish his aim. But that's not all. He died fighting for what he believed in, and he saw it through. Of that much, I'm sure.
For what he believed in.
Well, about that, there still might be a bit of unfinished business there. He sure was adamant about getting stuff home to people.
Yeah, for certain.
Sorry, what do you mean exactly?
Personal effects from the deceased. Things that family and friends can remember them by. We don't leave any other mark behind that says, we were here, you see? If there are people waiting for you, then you just want to leave something behind, whatever it may be. I was in the rear guard. I know just how dangerous that battlefield was. Maybe it's better not to dwell on that. But there are personal items that have been left behind though, right? Huh? Maybe you'd let us do something to help out with that. It must be really painful for the people who never got the chance for closure.
Yeah, right. I'm starting to get a handle on how they see things in the city. Sort of. But if there's something we can do about it, I want to try to help.
I appreciate the sentiment, guys. But why go to all this trouble?
Well, we'll get some closure from doing this too. We were losing friends every day.
And before we became Ouroboros, some of us used to be Offseers. Guernica went to all that trouble for others. And when it happened, he was thinking of everyone waiting for him in the city. So I'd like to help his voice find its way.
Much appreciated. Speaking personally, good on you.
Travis, could you pull up the tactical register?
Roger that. Give me a moment. There's the data. We've got a list of deceased soldiers and the likely locations where they fell. Could you check out the waypoints around Alfeto Valley?
That's some impressive precision.
Kind of you to notice. See, that's the thing about us lost numbers. We just don't know when to quit.
Okay, guys, it's up to you now. When you're done, could you meet me at the Remembrance Stones?
Got it. You have my word.
Is it just me or did this entire map change? It feels completely different now for some reason. That's so weird. Okay. Oh boy. Soldiers everywhere.
Check it out. Is this like a rare thing?
Oh, I think we interacted with this before too. Were they fighting here? Back to the city with you. Maybe not. Oh, there's more stuff in here that I need to go find. Great.
Sync. Right, Tyon?
Oh. Okay, I'll take this stuff back. Oh, and this stuff over here is not guarded, at least. Bet you were in a lot of pain. It's okay. We'll take your stuff back. And that's all of them. Before we head back, I keep forgetting to do all these. Okay, so it's not that much.
Feels nice filling all that in. I think I deserve a thank you, don't you? I think I deserve a thank you, don't you? I think I deserve a thank you, don't you? Feels nice filling all that in.
We've brought their belongings. Thanks. Means a lot. Can you lay them out here?
Now you mention it, didn't Monica put an eye patch here? Yeah, that was Guernica's.
What does it mean exactly? Placing people's belongings here?
How can I explain it? You guys have off-seeing, right? I guess this is our version of that.
Off-seeing for city folk.
You got here first.
Boss, we were waiting for you.
Brother, you.
Zuo, you made it back.
Hiwa, you always kept such good care of this. Now look at it. I just wish that we could have talked more. But you're home now.
Thanks to you, these people got a chance to say farewell to their loved ones. And I got to fulfill Dad's dying wish. Thank you.
The moats.
Sparkles fly!
You're finally home. Hiwa.
These people, they weren't just sacrifices. They've entrusted us all with the future. As the Founders did. Looking back is not an option. So that was an off-seeing. The sound of that music, it's really something else. I don't think anyone here will forget this day, as long as they live.
The Fallen never got to win their battles, but maybe now they can get some rest.
Yeah, finally. Speaking of, you ought to get some rest too. You're gonna be pretty busy from now on.
You said it, boss. Wait, just how busy are we talking here?
From now on, I'll be traveling with Noah's crew.
Huh? But then who's gonna handle things in the city?
You'll be here, won't you, Travis?
Like father, like daughter, eh?
Dad spent his life on the front line, and I want to carry on that tradition. I understood that when I heard the Offseers play. It has to be me. I have to carry on his legacy, fulfill his hopes. I'll fight for you now. Call on me anytime you need my help.
thank you. That's truly heartening.
I hope we'll get to know each other outside of battle too. There's so much I'd like to ask you. About yourself, the city.
No worries.
A word of warning, guys. The boss's stories are long.
If you've got time to rip on the boss, I might just assign you some more duties, Travis.
Oh,
Well, at least I won't have to worry about the city while I'm gone. Just holler if you need me.
We'll take you up on that.
Okay.
The battle
New
for the future is
hero.
here, and we're on the front line.
Uni. Interesting.